So good morning, it's Sunday and it's around 9:15, I'm guessing. My friend Will has already lit a fire. Probably he has kept a fire going from last night, but it's not quite cold enough yet here to do that. The houses warm up pretty quickly in the evening when you light a fire. Today I'm going to do a little bit of touring of some new areas for me. Just running past Derek's old house. I started this recording right from when I started my run, so I'm still trying to get my breath. Yep, I'm running to a nearby mountain, not Mount Doug. This one is further away and slightly smaller. It too was left behind by the receding ice. I think it's called a moraine. I'm going to have to share the recording with quite a lot of cars today. They're going to be competing for my digital data. But I do have my Sondita, my little sound recorder, my Sony, the replacement for Sonia. So I mapped this run with a mapping tool, and I'm going to be curious to see how closely they match. I have my GPS app on my phone running. You will hear her speak soon. Still inside the first kilometer, running in a street called Rossiter. This nearby mountain is called Mount Tolmie, Tolmie. The streets around here have got very interesting names. Angola Place. So I'm just coming up on the first kilometer. I shall probably start recording again when I get onto Mackenzie. Tyndall Avenue. Any second now. Yep, I'm on Tyndall, running parallel to Lambrick Park, but on the west side. So you heard it from her. 1 kilometer, 6-minute pace, 6 something. Really makes me realize how much quieter it is in my neighborhood. And it's certainly a lot quieter in Mount Douglas Park. I should hit some very quiet patches on this run. I'm just trying to keep it to the point. I think I should be done in less than, well, in about an hour, I would say. It's about a 9-kilometer loop that I've planned, and now that I'm crossing and turning away from most of the traffic, we should be okay, just with the adjoining cul-de-sacs. This was how I used to do all my running in the old days. Back streets and laneways. I'm heading towards the back of one of my running friends' house. An ultra-marathon guy called Rob Smith. He lives in this neighborhood. It's nice and breezy today and overcast. Running on the flat for the first time since I left home. Harvard Place, and on Loyola. These are all streets close to the university. I guess this area was developed when UVic changed from being a military academy to being a university. Fairburn Park. 27 is the bus that serves Gordon Head. I can now see Mount Ptolemy in the distance. I'll take a picture of it. Yep, this is the back of, I think it's Mount Doug. Mount Doug High School. If that's Gordon Head Road at the top, which I think it is, this should be Mount Doug High School. Still climbing. This is definitely the head of Gordon Head. I could cut across the parking lot, but I didn't map it that way, so I won't. This is supposed to be an app check. Excuse me. So my correction, it's Mount Doug Secondary School. What they tend to do around here is, as the demographic of the kids in the neighborhood changes, the elementary schools become middle schools, that kind of thing. They don't need two elementaries in the same neighborhood. So this is Mackenzie at the very top, right by the UVic property line. I now have to try and cross safely. Looks as if I get a chance right about now to cross. Yep, I'm on my way safely across. That's how wide the street is. About a 10-stride crossing. 30 feet, maybe. It's the width of Mackenzie Avenue. Now, UVic used to have some kind of military establishment. I don't think it was a college. I'm getting that mixed up with Royal Roads, which used to be a military academy. This area was probably just barracks, deployment spots. I definitely passed a lot of schools and centers of learning on this run. I'm going to try and keep it to 48 minutes, so I will take another break in the recording. So I've just come across a rather attractive produce stand here. So, not sure what happened there, but I think I had it on pause. No, I had it on stop, that's right. So when I pressed play, it stopped it. Not sure what I'm saying. I'll figure it out later, but I know I have something there on audio. The flower stand on this road leading to that mountain opposite. So I'm now crossing Cedar Hill Crossroad. I will be crossing this road again. Okay, so I'm now on municipal gravel hiking trail to the summit of Mount Tolmie. Mount Tolmie is quite a bit smaller than Mount Doug. There's one of those huge jet planes that we get. That's probably going to Mexico or Hawaii or Vegas. That's the other favorite destination for the people around here. This is identical vegetation to the Garry Oak Meadows on Mount Doug. This is probably preserved habitat. That's what they call it. A preserved habitat. I remember when I used to run up here. The next section is particularly steep. So what am I doing? I'm starting to run up a ramp. Oh, I'm halfway. Maybe I just wanted to stress my heart a little bit. Okay, they've carved some earth steps to the side of the gravel. you can hear how that 20 seconds of effort have put me in an oxygen deficit. But still, I'm going to take a picture of Mount Doug from the summit of Mount Ptolemy. I'll get back to you then. I'm now well and truly within sight of the summit. I could have stayed on the trail for one loop longer, and decided to peel off because this is the route that I mapped. Just taking a picture of Mount Doug from near enough the summit of Mount Ptolemy. I was going to take it right from the summit, but that was a perfect, quiet spot to take a picture of Mount Doug. During the summer, they bring tour buses to the top here. Up the summit. How does it say here? Bowker Creek watershed. Oh wow. Bowker Creek, you are here. I guess that's meaningless without a photograph. Okay, well I could probably find that one online. I'm heading back now to Cedar Hill Crossroad again. For the next 20 minutes or so, I'll be sharing the road with the cars. This is a nice paved downhill. I'm thinking comfort and efficiency. So I'm running on Mayfair Drive. Toyota. It's one of the signs that people put up in their front yard. It says, caution, expect deer. And there's a little silhouette of a young family. My yard would have that sign on it for sure. Never a day goes by without me seeing the same little family of deer. Well, I've paid in to the bank of altitude the last couple of days, and now I'm withdrawing some free stored energy. Richmond Road, I take a right back towards my neighborhood, so I will switch back to the sidewalk once these two cars pass. Oh, okay, I'm safe. I've seen a few good runners today. Hello. Yeah, these look like students, women, young women. So I'm now heading towards Mount Doug. Mount Doug is dead ahead. Richmond is pointing straight back to my neighborhood. Hello. I had to negotiate a guy with a huge backpack. He was leaning against his car, opening the door when I came by him. So he had to turn through 90 degrees to let me through. Kind of like a lock gate of a backpack. Wonderful week of podcast listening. I really would miss my shows terribly if I couldn't get them. I'm enjoying listening to, I think it's Liz Cooper. I'm terrible with girls' names, but she is quite a talented runner and a very disciplined, once a week, 12-minute podcast every Friday. So I'm beginning to build up a social calendar, so to speak, of my shows when I listen to them. But depending on our whims, it tends to shift around a little bit. I know I'm guilty as charged of that heinous crime of multi-broadcasting, multi-recording, multi-day extravaganzas. Well, I've never had the company of so many other people. Absolutely nobody to talk to. Everybody is in their little box, whizzing by me. Very soon, I'm going to be on another quiet neighborhood. Okay, well, it looks as if everything is working again. I'm at Cedar Hill Crossroad and Shelbourne, just about to head towards Brayfoot and the back of the Feltham Trail, which will take me back to Lambrick Park. So until I hit the quieter section, we will listen together to the sound of music and traffic and birds. I have a bit of an uphill coming up pretty soon, which is going to be a little bit taxing, as they say. Getting back into the analogy of banking. Got to pay some taxes pretty soon. So on this corner we have a Van City Bank, an A&W root beer restaurant, a McDonald's, Petro-Canada, Coast Capital Savings Bank. Anyway, I'm going to have to stop for a cycle of lights. Was a nice looking Ferrari, a red circa 1980 Ferrari. Very nice collector's car. Wasn't in particularly good shape. I mean, the paintwork was dull. Just beginning to rain a little bit as I head up past Luther Court, a seniors retirement building that's attached to a Lutheran church. Yep, this is another hill. This is Cedar Hill as opposed to Ptolemy. Hi. Or Mount Doug. Mount Doug is definitely very much less residential than these hills. Just running past Roy's house. I had a client called Roy. I believe he is still a paraplegic. He lost part of his spinal cord through infection. Yep. One of those flesh-eating infections. Unfortunate. Just makes you realize how precious every minute that we have is. Active life is a gift that we share. I'm just running across Cedar Hill Crossroad, and I'm now on Brayfoot Road heading towards Herman the German's place. This will be quiet from now all the way back home. No noisy traffic. Hello.
Thank you.
Guy was thanking me for running on the road. He was carrying one of his daughters on his neck, on his shoulders, I should say. Well, I haven't seen any deer on my run today. But I'm not quite back in my neighborhood, which is Deer Central. Halfway between Mount Palmy and Mount Doug. About 2 miles to go for home. This is Herman's place. Well, something has gone screwy with my pace because I have been out for way longer than 22 minutes. Possibly when I stopped to take a picture, I might have interrupted the recording of the GPS. Who knows? All will be revealed when I return. I can believe the distance is correct, but the time is not. The time is definitely out. I would say I was up to about 40 minutes by now. Yep, probably 40 minutes of an inaccuracy which would suddenly mean that my pace was ridiculously fast for covering the distance. Another way you can verify the time is when you eventually stop the data. Sometimes it catches up with the details, other times it just draws a straight line. Still, crap. That is the disadvantage of the system that I use to record my exploring. Here comes a runner taking my route across Greyfoot School. He looked more like a school principal than I did, than I do. I still have the kids calling me the pirate. What's that pirate doing running? So, this might sound familiar to use. This is the Mackenzie overpass. I will be way up above the traffic. Back in Bow Park. This week I've been toying with my mapping tools on the computer and managing to put together slideshows of my runs without necessarily taking any action footage. This is the Bow Park hill that I always walk when I'm recording. It's kind of steep and kind of leaves me puffing and panting. But I always start running before the crest of the hill. Just as I can look over the crest, that's when I start my run. Feltham Trail is covered with a blanket of oak leaves. This is another typical Garry Oak ecosystem. This one is a little wetter, especially today as it's starting to rain. 10:37 current time. That's the only data that I can be sure of at the moment. That's another reason I map these runs on the computer, just in case I get the app crap happening. But I guess our phones get a heck of a lot of use. We're using them as portable multimedia internet access at all times. Yeah. I'm looking forward to my trip to Spain to see my mama. A chance to train on my own. I will be possibly taking a computer, a MacBook Air with me. It might make my audio and video presentations a little more professional. There's a Coast Guard helicopter. We have quite a problem with smuggling, being so close to the US by boat. So today's music I got from the YouTube website. If you're ever stuck for free, non-copyright protected music, that's where you can access many tunes. And I believe the genre that I accessed was techno pop, maybe techno funk, techno something anyway. And once I found something instrumental that I could live with, I searched by the musician's name, and it came up with 5 or 6 less than 3-minute snippets of music. So there you go. I will play by the rules for a while. Just about to cross Shelbourne and head back into the warm security of Lambrick Park. I will take a drink at the water fountain because today I have been working quite hard and talking probably even harder. So as I finish off the last kilometer or so of Torquay Drive, I will bid you adieu